Hello and welcome to the primetime news on Muvi television. Sincere apologies for the delayed start. This was due to technical fault here at base. The headlines. Political activist welcomes ongoing arrest of former government leaders. Awards over 2,000 first-year students. Leadership movement challenges UPND government to address the cost of living. Economist Yusuf Dodia questions the 2022 national budget implementation. Kalumbila Town Council to petrol activist Dante Saunders has called on Zambians not to be relaxed in bringing to account suspected criminals and plunderers of public resources that characterized the Patriotic Front 10 years rule. Mr. Saunders says the recently witnessed arrest of some former government officials must be welcomed by all well-meaning Zambians, adding that this must be looked at as a step in the right direction because the country needs to recover plundered public resources. Speaking in an interview with Muvi TV News, Mr. Saunders has urged citizens to continue with vigilance as exhibited in the August 12th polls and the government to bring to
And for me, I'm happy to see that people are beginning to look at some of these cases. And I say some of the cases, not all of them yet. But this is the beginning. This begins to show us as the people who have suffered the consequences because of plunder of the wealth of this nation. It is now up to us as a people, Let's not just look and just be happy that the wheels of justice is beginning to move. We must, as a people, come forward and assist these people in who are investigations and them what we know about the cases. This is the beginning, but it is up to the people of this country. We must never hide our head in shame. Under of the wealth of this was happening right before our eyes. We could feel it, we could hear it. It was happening. But instead we just put us in the sand because of being ashamed of what was happening. Now it is up to rise one more time. We defeated a gang of people who wanted to hijack this country. Past that stage, we've now brought democracy. Let us protect our democracy. And in order to protect our democracy, let us cry out loud. Not only, yes, I'm free now to mingle with the party of your choice, a church of your choice, an association of your choice. Let's not just be happy there. Be, united in assisting our police officers, ACT, DEC, judiciary, and so on and so forth. Let us assist them by coming out and telling them.
Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board has awarded loans to 2,405 first-year students of the 1,484 applicants at the University of Zambia for the year 2021-2022. Board Senior Corporate Communications Officer 1,340 of the total applicants are male, while 1,141 female, 54% and 46% respectively. In a statement, Kawanda stated that the board is unable to award student loans to all eligible applicants for the 2021-2022 academic year due to budgetary restraints. She 1,040 students awarded are from rural districts, while 1,441 are from urban districts, representing 42% and 88% respectively. Ms. Kawanda has also disclosed that all 40 students living with disabilities have been awarded student loans representing 1.6% of the total applicants. Opposition Leadership Movement has asked the ruling United Party for National Development to urgently address the high cost of living Zambians are grappling with. Speaking in a telephone interview with Muvi TV News in Lusaka, Party Deputy Secretary General Charles Chandalala states that Zambians should not be subjected to high prices of commodities when the UPND government promised to address this challenge. He has disclosed that Zambians deserve access to commodities without struggle. Meanwhile, Mr. Chandalala has urged government to ensure that farmers are empowered enough so that they do not fully depend on FISP, which he says some farmers are not beneficiaries.
Living is one. As a nation, we cannot reduce the cost of living in our nation if many Zambian people are languishing in the streets. First thing, as a leadership movement, we believe in land ownership with title deeds. We don't want farmers to be dependent on FISIP, on government programs. We want farmers to be independent. We want farmers to wake up on their own time, go to a bank, get a loan, access a loan, and start doing and do farming as a business. That's what we want. We want every Zambian, towns and cities and villages own land with title deeds. With that, we are able to empower our farmers. And apart from that, we want jobs for the Zambian youths. Let's create sustainable and decent jobs for our young people. Not these bangamanga jobs we are seeing today. We want the young people to be recruited under ZNS program. Once they are recruited under Zambia National Service Program, we want to have state farms in every district.
Opposition Movement for Democratic Change Vice President in charge of administration, Leonard Higaumba, has observed that for the 10 years the Patriotic Front were in power, things become worse despite several about debt which the previous government had left ballooned.
We subject ourselves to that we were giving. I recall that when I was in the labor movement, we talked so much against debt accumulation, the debt relief that we received through the HIPIC program. So there were conditionalities that were quite injurious, I would say, to the people in general. And for workers, I recall that there was a condition that the government this time around.
As the country awaits the coming into effect of revenue generation, Mr. Dodia says the 2022 budget hands on a thriving economy which may not be attainable in 2022. He says projected tax collections have exponentially increased, such as 5 billion kwacha projected revenue to be collected on pay-as-you-earn and 121% increase in mineral royalty taxes, among others, that are quite ambitious. Mr. Dodia was speaking in an interview with Muvi TV News.
A lot of the taxes that government is looking to see an increase in revenue collection are based on a thriving economy. Corporate tax, income tax, pay-as-you-earn, customs duties, excise duties, these are all based on prolific business activities taking place in 2022. And I think that's quite ambitious. If we look just at pay-as-you-earn, we are looking at an increase of taxes from 13 billion to 18 billion, which is an increase of 5 billion. In order for us to raise 5 billion in pay-as-you-earn revenue collection, tax revenue collection, we are looking at employees who are earning more than 4,500 and probably up to 10,000 kwacha, which is medium, medium size of the employee market, because the lower level of the employee market are not paying taxes at all. So we need about 1 million to 1.5 million new jobs in order to raise that 5 billion kwacha in taxes. Now, again, is this reasonable expectations for 2022? Just 1 year, the fiscal year 2022, we need to see this increase in revenue by 50 billion kwacha. So I'm a bit concerned that yes, we have good ideas and we are pushing in the right direction, but we need to be realistic about revenue generation. We have a situation where mineral royalty taxes have been increased from 5.9 billion to 12.8 billion, which is a 126% increase in mineral royalty taxes. Is the mining industry going to accept this quietly? We saw issues of taxes being increased in the mining sector in 2020, 2019,
and even 2021, where the mining sector revolted against government and were unable to do away with value-added tax and replace it with goods and services tax.
You're watching the news on Muvi TV. We take a short break. Join us on the other side for more stories.
And many more. Protect yourself and the people around you and get your business running with our powerful trusted disinfectants. Call Rumpi Enterprises on 0955 767835 or 0955 992230, or come to the third floor, room 3, Tazara House, corner of Dedan Kimati and Independence Avenue. Follow us on Facebook, Rumpi Enterprises Limited. Always remember to observe the COVID-19 guidelines. Mask up, sanitize, social distancing, and staying.
Join a community of lifelong learners. Copeland University is a dynamic place to start or further your education to be effective in your career. At Copeland University, we aim to offer quality, accessible, and affordable tertiary education across society with our well-qualified lecturers, well-furnished computer lab, well-furnished lecture rooms, high standard and stable online learning platforms. We offer programs in the School of Business, School of Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, the School of Law. We are making quality education affordable in Zambia. No application fees are required. We have reduced fees for all programs for every student. We allow flexible payments, pay in monthly installments. All our programs are accredited and approved by the Higher Education Authority and the Zambia Qualification Authority. Step into your future with confidence. Apply now. Programs available on full-time, distance, and online education. Contact us on WhatsApp 0763 301 198. We are located at the Lusaka Main Post Office Building, corner of Cairo and Church Road, Lusaka. Email us info@copelanduniversity.com. You can also visit our website www.copelanduniversity.com.
I woke up feeling great, need a kick for the day. Got a taste that is keeping me awake. Something fresh, something true, unforgettable, something new. I can trust as my interest all the way. So when I wake up, can't get enough. Every day, having with tea, yeah, with my bread. Oh, for me, every day, yeah, every day. Years of perfection bring satisfaction. Think milk, think Finta. Yeah, every day.
Kalumbila Town Council has disclosed that it will soon embark on a journey to phase out pit latrines in all schools. Kalumbila Council Chairman Shadrack Munyunga has said that pit latrines in schools have proved to be a menace in the province as they pose a huge threat to the environment. Munyunga says the local authority will also construct ablution blocks in all the schools in order to provide an enabling environment for learners. Most schools in northwestern province mainly depend on pit latrines for sanitation.
Chairperson, the Member of Parliament, and the councillors, we are going to sit to make sure that each and every school should have an ablution block. Each and every clinic should have what? An ablution block. You know that we are receiving the 25 million as a CDF. so that in the 5-year period, we are going to cover all the schools. We are going to cover all the clinics. We make sure that our clinics have better maternity wings. Our clinics should have better maternity wings, should have better abortion blocks, so that we also move away from the. We have started already collecting ground in our district with the member of parliament to get views of the people, what the people want, because this time around it's not us to plan for the people. It's people, they need to give us what do they want in these communities. So we have started sitting so that come 2022.
Now, Community Action Against Corruption has urged the former ruling party, Patriotic Front officials and sympathizers not to politicize the fight against corruption adopted by the New Dawn government, stating that they had their chance to fight corruption but failed. Speaking to Muvi TV News in Lusaka, Community Action Against Corruption Chief Executive Officer Brighton Tembo alleges that the PAF government chose to involve itself in corruption as opposed to fighting it. Mr. Tembo further says members of the former ruling party should stop misleading Zambians that they are being targeted for arrests in connection with corruption. He has since urged the new government to arrest as many PF officials as possible.
We wish to urge the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, not to undermine the fight against corruption by insinuating that they are being targeted for prosecution concerning corruption-related matters. What the Patriotic Front should realize is the fact that these people were given time, enough time, 7 years to fight corruption, but they opted not to fight corruption. In short, they participated in it. So when time to reckon comes, let them face the law, not by turning into crying babies so that they can win sympathy of the Zambians. We can also wish or urge the investigative wings of government to continue arresting the people as long as they were involved in corrupt practices. If the reasons for their arrests are valid, let them be arrested and they can be acquitted by the courts of law. Crying out to win sympathy will not help in this matter. So let the Patriotic Front be helpful to the state so that the issue concerning corruption during their time can be settled.
Some suspected unruly United Party for National Development UPND cadres have shut down the office of Luangwa Council Chairperson Lawrence Shaba on account that his election was nullified. The cadres, in the company of United Party losing candidate Arthur Lungu, closed down the office, demanding that Mr. Shaba produces a stay of execution that allows him to continue with his operations. In an interview with Muvi TV, Mr. Shaba says he has since decided to leave Luangwa district due to the continued harassment by UPND cadres. Now, the victim claims his life is in danger due to continued threats from the alleged cadres. But UPND leadership has expressed ignorance on the matter. On September 24, 2021, a tribunal sitting in Luangwa nullified Mr. Shaba's election, citing electoral violence. Mr. Shaba, however, appealed the decision of the tribunal to the Constitutional Court, pending determination of the appeal. And now, various schools in northern and Muchinga provinces have embarked on a tree planting target exercise targeting to plant about 4,000 trees in an effort to mitigate effects of climate change. The program is also aimed at equipping both teachers and learners with information on tree planting and climate change through formation of environmental clubs in schools. 4 districts, namely Nakonde, Mbulungu, Lavushimanda and Senga Hill, are to benefit from the tree planting exercise.
Ange Secondary School in Senior Chief Milambo's chiefdom of Milenge District. The school is among those schools that have been constructed under the program Zambia Education Enhancement Program and is being funded by World Bank. School aids teacher gives an overview of the project.
This school started in 2019 with funding from World Bank under the program called ZIP, that is Zambia Education Enhancement Program. So far we started with phase 1 where we started by constructing the girls' dormitory, the lab, and the 1x2. Thereafter, we are again funded to do the 1x3. So I think it has helped the community so much because people used to go to Mansa, some to Dwela Secondary School and others Mulumbi, which is about 40 plus so kilometers.
And the parents has pledged to support the current government in its quest to improve the education sector through various interventions it has taken.
Bantu abana baleya patali nomba baleya mpepi so nga ifwe bafyashi natutemwa sana kayichimo na chimbi cha namba 2 PTA na bakunyako mukwipifya kunalanda kufira amalipiro yonse ni kule education okuma grade 1 to grade 2 new dawn for iwombere na ifwe bene nga bafyashi batwayikalepo fe tudetungirira abana pautira na bena afikirishe ukusambira palira.
And a grade 11 pupil at this school says the coming of the school will help in reducing early marriages and also teenage pregnancies.
Never grade 11 in the total of about Waitwetera secondary school paka bangesho shilelenga kashana nola kwata sana mafupanture kwata turefu mafama yanda Yesu abenginga bakuma school ziyambi bala kwata sana mafupantu bala kwata freedom no kusenda sana empia bantu afyashi bali pila sana empia shingi pakuti bafume kumana ndoko okobekala nokakuma school ziyambi empia shingi shila.
Meanwhile, former school head boy who completed school this year had this to say.
Just appreciating for the coming of grade 12 school. It was too difficult for the learners to go to Dwela Secondary School and other secondary schools in Mulumbi and in Mansa.
What remains is the school to have Zesco power and more teachers' houses. Helen Chisha reporting for Muvi TV News in Milenge district of
Republican Vice President W.K. Mutale Nalumango has taken a swipe at some government critics that are on a rampage criticizing government, telling Zambians that UPND during its time in opposition vowed never to borrow. Mrs. Nalumango says such remarks are misleading to the nation, stating that no UPND leader said the UPND will never borrow when in government. She says what the UPND said was that it was going to borrow reasonably and from the right sources because borrowing is a necessity. The Vice President adds that the New Dawn government is determined to develop the country, hence Zambians must tighten their belts during this moment as the end result will be beneficial. She said this during the Vice President's question time in Parliament Friday.
This is the remedy for our economy. This is the remedy because then the indebtedness is automatically reduced. And then
somebody wants to know what runda runda means.
It is adi adi. Oh, faka faka. That means add on and on.
What is faka faka?
Madam Speaker, this is the solution. This we talked about, and the colleagues, you wanted to tell the Zambians, mislead them, that we said we would never borrow. I was a campaigner. I read, I spoke. We said we will not recklessly borrow. We will restructure the debt. And the restructuring is this, part of this. Because we are changing the way we are going to handle debt. And we said borrowing is important. Even big countries borrow. So how could we have said that? Don't mislead people. It is not correct. After all, some of you want to look clean. I am very happy with those that debated here yesterday. Because some people wanted to say, we said we will never borrow. We never said that. We said we will borrow. Yes. And we are going to borrow, but reasonably from the right sources. That includes, this is basically a grant. You don't call that borrowing at 75 ingwe per 100. That is not borrowing. Colleagues, Zambians, hear me. This is the way out. Everybody, kakenyemba. Tighten your belt so that we can take off. And when we take off, we will land safely. The economy will do well. Minister, what you are doing is what reasonable people do, so that they can find a solution. You don't fear a mountain if you have to go on the other side. You must go up the hill to reach where you intend to go. We are not a fear float. Zambians, watch the space. Ask us after just 2-3 years if you will not be smiling. We will not hide things. We will explain. But remember, it is for the better, and it shall be seen that the new dawn under President Hakainde Hichilema means well. Thank you, Madam.
Watching the news on Movie TV, we take our final break. Join us on the other side for the rest of the stories.
They'll play a high press to force the mistakes.
They'll dominate the aerial ball. They too tall. We'll handle the pressure and smash them on the break.
The number 9 has scored in their last 5 games.
The passing will be quick, decisive, precise. There will be drama in the dying minutes. This match will mean more than 3 points.
They will have the home ground advantage. This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway.
Fairview University College is enrolling students for the January-April 2022 intake in the following: School of Education, Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Education, Bachelor of Education in Primary Education, Bachelor of Education in Secondary Education, Bachelor of Education in Special Education, Diploma in Early Childhood Education, Diploma in Primary Education, Diploma in Secondary Education, Diploma in Special Education, Certificate in Early Childhood Education, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Diploma in Public Relations, School of Hotel and Tourism, Diploma in Food and Production, Diploma in Front Office, Diploma in Food and Beverages Management, Diploma in Hospitality and Events Management, and Diploma in Sales and Marketing. For more information, visit us at Regent College along Kwazi Road or the North Mid Campus at plot number 11 Luamba Road, Lusaka, or call us on 0955 787114 or 0966 787114 or 0977 787114. Fairview University College. We aim at excellence.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Movie TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Movie TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
Thank you very much for staying tuned. Now, 2 Zambian Pan-African activists have suggested the need for the continent to begin to establish democratic ideas and beliefs that are suitable for the African citizens. Kosten Chongo has charged that the problems faced by Africans today are partly due to wrong political and democratic approach, which does not respond to aspirations of Africans. And a diplomat, Gordon Mapulanga, who is also a lecturer at the National Institute of Public Administration's NIPA, says African leaders have an opportunity to ensure that they begin to seriously discuss the real challenges being faced by the African populace. The duo was speaking during Muvi TV's special interview Saturday.
Our education system has to be revisited. Our health system has to be revisited. Even our political system has to be revisited. Wow. Our political approaches are not well defined. We have political parties, for example, that are formed only to address a particular purpose, rather than being based on an ideology that stands a test of time. Because I need to have my child who is 6 years old, my acting last born now, to be able to get to know the political space in the country, begin to learn from school the politics in the country. Meaning, the political parties that are being formed based on a political ideology. Where a child who is 5 years old today will begin to know this political party exists on this particular ideology. Then, should there be another political party with a different ideology, my child will also begin to learn both. And then as they grow, based on their thought and preference, they'll say, I belong to this particular political party because of this particular ideology. But today, in Africa, you realize that political parties are formed on the basis of serving a particular purpose. UNIP came in with a purpose of serving the purpose of independence. 5 years down the line, that purpose went in the drain and UNIP began to be challenged. Thankfully, UNIP also had an agenda to build the nation. There was an agenda of national building. So it was fit to go into one-party state. So that's one of the advantages of the one-party state system that Kaunda came up with from my analysis. For the purpose of national building, that was a good thing. But for the purpose of political growth, for the purpose of democracy, it was not a good thing. However, at that time, we were living in a society that was not very well informed on politics and issues of democracy, which is the approach that China has taken today. China says, we are only going to democratize or open democracy, to have an open democracy, liberal democracy in this country, after attaining a certain stage of information by our citizens. So until our citizens develop to a certain extent in terms of knowledge, then we can say we open it now, we can have democracy. When you go to the USA, India, democracy is doing very well. Why? Because the system
is locally grown.
Is locally grown. They understand the ideology. A child born in a democratic society is able to tell, I'm a Democrat. In a Republican society, they're able to tell, I'm a Republican. But there comes a time when they begin to swing. Okay, I'm a Republican, but I'll vote for a Democrat candidate simply because I believe in what they are bringing out. I believe in their...
You know, USA has a policy of protecting democracy even in the other countries. Like if there's any violation of human rights and democracy in other countries, intervenes. And a few months ago, there was a conference in China. The leaders sat with a view to have the president of China, the leader of China, to make him a sole leader. In other words, a leader who would die on the seat. And we didn't see America going to intervene in the situation in China. Why? So we are dealing with democratic states, which are liberal states, like us, the developing states, and the realists. So the realists believe in protecting their interests. Where they see that there's something which they can get out of here, they need to protect their interest in those states and put things which are going to allow them to access what they want in that state. So they see that there is a China and America. They are at the same level. They all they all exist to protect their interests. So
Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, leader Sean Tembo, has insisted that the decision made by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, to eject 9 Patriot Front PF MPs whose seats have been nullified by the High Court is out of order. Mr. Tembo argues that it is clear that the Speaker breached the Constitution, something he said must be avoided by leaders such as the Speaker. The PEP leader has since called on the Constitutional Court to expeditiously provide direction on the matter.
As Patriots for Economic Progress, we are very shocked. As Patriots for Economic Progress, we are very shocked and disappointed at the same time with the ruling that was made by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, to the effect that members of Parliament who had their seats nullified will cease to attend parliamentary business with immediate effect. We say so because it is a well-established precedent that members of Parliament whose seats are nullified and they appeal that nullification continue to attend parliamentary business. And these legal precedents have been there for the past 30 years or so. And for the Speaker of Parliament to make that decision, the total effect is that she has overturned those legal precedents. And it must be noted that the Speaker is not a court of law, and she has no jurisdiction and no authority to overturn well-established legal precedents in terms of a member of Parliament continuing to attend the business of Parliament after their seat has been nullified. And we wish to call upon those members of Parliament who are affected to take this matter to court so that the court can make a proper pronouncement. Thank you.
Item brings us to the end of this bulletin. Before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. Political Activists Office, Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board awards over 2,000 first-year students. Leadership Movement challenges UPND government to address the cost of living. Economist Yusuf Dodia questions the 2022 national budget implementation. Kalumbila Town Council to phase out pit latrines in all schools. That's the news.